Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. This is episode 456, 456. It's the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris. And with me is me, myself, and I. It's me alone today, folks. We'll got this. We got a good show going. We'll take your calls. We'll do a little bit of talk about the game. We'll get Coach Campbell's post-game presser. I'm going to rely on you. I'm going to rely on your calls. So help carry the show with me today. We got you guys. Yes, Detroit fan man, we're going to get a picture of Riz in James Houston's locker room, or in his locker for sure. It's got to be staring at him every day and give him a little bit of sense of what he was up against. It's good stuff. Like I said, we'll take your calls. We'll rely on you, and we'll get that press conference in. Talking about today's game, big win over the Chicago Bears. Things are lining up pretty nice. We'll talk about what the playoffs look like for the Lions, all that, and a whole lot more. Got a great show lined up, and I'm telling you, we're about to kick this off.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right. Oh, Andrew, that's so love to hear. I'm not alone. We're with you, ride or die. Oh man, yeah, James Houston out there abusing people. This is a beautiful game to see. I'd love to see this kind of play out of our guy Houston. It meant a lot. We're gonna go ahead and open up the lines right away and let you guys get in instead of making you hold on to talk, because there's going to be a lot to chat about today in the victory celebration. Somebody's going to be lucky and be on the line when the press conference starts, and then we're just going to have to pause you while we listen to Coach Campbell and whoever else they put up on the podium today. So we'll keep our eyes out for that. God, victory, big victory. This felt a little bit like the game against the Jaguars, where the Lions got an opportunity to just kind of sit back and relax and watch a great game. I mean, I didn't feel the stress. You know how it is, Lions fans. You get that kind of that little bit of fear, like, oh, but when's the shoe gonna drop? When's something gonna happen? And it just wasn't that way this game. It was great as a fan to sit back, have a relaxing New Year's Day. Maybe your head's thumping a little bit, maybe it's not. It's all good. It's all good. Had a good game. Good stuff. Goff is the guy. I've been talking about this all season, and we're seeing a little bit of a change in people who didn't necessarily think that Goff might be the guy. And I think as we see him kind of get players around him that aren't injured and are able to bring it together, you're seeing what Jared Goff can bring to the game as a quarterback. And I think it's a lot. Does he need a perfect setup around him? No. But he does need people who can catch the ball. Brad Holmes is that guy. Brad Holmes is definitely the guy. Fields, running back, playing quarterback. Yeah, he had a couple good throws today, but it's gonna be problematic for Justin Fields and Bears fans, I think. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
Hey, it's Mike from Iowa, and I don't drink, but I was working out because that often makes me work out harder during the game.
There you go. There you go. It's good for you. Wow, you're the first person who I found turn the Lions into a healthy kind of vice.
A healthy thing, yeah. Well, sometimes I probably shouldn't. It's a good thing I go on the elliptical, because otherwise you might get a heart attack. So I wouldn't hurt myself. So,
well,
I just want to.
If you're still feeling the effects in 4 hours, please be sure to call a doctor. Go ahead.
Yes. No, I just wanted to thank you for the show, and I wanted to make a comment. I've not been the greatest of Goff fans, but my favorite play of the game was actually in the fourth quarter when the game had been sealed up and Goff was no longer in the game, and Jamal had that great run. And did you see the first player to greet him was Jared Goff with a big old bear hug?
Yeah,
and that just shows to me how invested Jared Goff is, and as fans, I think we need to be invested in him too.
Yeah,
so,
I'll tell you what.
That's all I wanted to say. Thanks. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. No, Goff. That play, if you watch, Goff ran down the sideline with Williams while he's running that, and then bolted on the field. That was so great to see. So, I mean, you talk about a team and that sense of brotherhood. You're seeing it, and it's been a long time since we've kind of seen this kind of connection between the guys on the team. And you're right, Goff coming out there for the big bear hug was indicative of what this means to each of those guys.
Yeah, no, and it was a complete game victory, and Aaron Glenn, patched up the defense a little bit, and yeah, I'll hang up and I'll let somebody else get some good perspective. But thanks to you and to Riz, and I'm glad that you guys are feeling better, and hopefully we're talking again in a week with another Lions win. So.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. It'd be great. Thanks for the call, brother. Appreciate the kind words and checking in. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, boy, there's next week is lining up to be one heck of a game. Boys and girls, it is all coming together. We've got to watch what happens with Seattle today. We need to see the Jets beat down on Seattle, and then it's all on us. It's all on us. I think, who does Seattle play the last game of the season? Does anybody remember? The Rams. Yeah, we got to count on the Jets. Go Jets, go. Jets, Jets. That's what we need. We need a Jets victory today to fix all the Lions' woes. And then I've said it, I am a little bit worried about what this Lambeau game is setting up to be for Lions fans. But we'll talk about that too. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Hey, you know what it is, baby. Jersey Rams. And I'm so glad to see the tide has turned for my boy Goff. They jinx me every time he steps back. Oh, they keep saying, oh, he has to throw an interception. I'm like, stop saying it. But, yeah, he is so locked in right now. You give him a running game with the play action, and look, in week 12, the Eagles had nobody on the injury report, and I thought that was amazing. Like, nobody. Yep. Now, they are Sweat today. The notion that they're just as good with Minshew has been proven not to be true. The Niners still have Purdy with a great defense. Like, who, if you're in the NFC, who would you be afraid of if the Lions get in? Like, I'm literally not afraid of the Lions playing anybody. In a shootout, because that defense,
Yeah.
But in the shootout, man.
I think the one team that I'm afraid of is the Niners, to be honest with you.
Right.
That's the one team that gives me straight fear. But my fear right now is just this next week, this game coming up, and I don't want to get to it yet because I want to celebrate what we have and what happened today and enjoy it with everybody for a few minutes before we get too far ahead of ourselves. But that game next week is really going to be one for the ages. I almost guarantee it gets flexed to the 8 p.m. slot. It's everything.
Nighttime, Lambeau, yeah. Especially if Green Bay wins today. I hope they don't, but especially if they do, it's great, man. But this is where your reputation is made for all these players, from St. Brown, Goff, to Hutchinson, who played a great game today, like just all over the place. Like they say, his discipline was great, and James Houston, my God. When Lions are in passing attack, the kid I don't want to say he's Von Miller because he doesn't play the run yet, but his bend and his get at the quarterback is it reminds me a little bit of Von Miller.
So yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've heard that, and I see what people are talking about with Houston. Right, setting up the speed with the power with the speed. My guy is showing some real juice out there, and I'm excited to see what Houston becomes. And I saw Riz rolling around. Just give him a little call out. I saw you in the chat, Riz. He knows. He's never been happier.
And tell Riz to give my man Goff some love too. I expect Riz to give some love to my boy Goff next time he's on the pod.
I expect a lot of people to kind of step up and admit, who's really good at it. Q was asking actually on a text we've got with a couple of us asking another guy, he couldn't make the game today. He's like, hey, they got the Goff bobblehead. Can someone get one for me, please? And I'm like, this is the end times, Q. If you're going for Goff. He's like, I'm all in.
Great, man. I feel so vindicated. I'm happy for the kid that he's playing well in Detroit, man. So, as always, I'll continue to listen. Great job. And hopefully call you in next week. Well, I don't know if you're going to do it if it's Sunday night.
Oh, hell yeah.
After the game?
Hell yeah.
Oh, my God. And I'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. Hey, I want to say thanks.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too, man. And thanks for calling in with your golf support. I said golf, gosh. The golf support, because you were a quiet voice in a desert of people screaming, and a lot of those same people were screaming for Campbell at the same time there at the end, after the Patriots game, and you stood up and you said, no, he's the guy. And you know what? You were a heck of a lot more right than you were wrong, man. So you deserve props for standing up for your guy Goff in the face of adversity.
Yeah. Have a good night, bro.
Yeah, you too, man. We'll see you. All right, there you go. That's our guy. He's the one that carried Goff the whole time. And it looks like he was right. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Oh, hey, my name is Devin Jones. I've had 6 beers. I had a sixer.
Good for you.
And just celebrating after a nice Lions win.
How was that? That was about one of the tastiest wins this season. I know the Jags win was good, but the more I think about this being such a stomping of a division rival, it was never really in question. You know what I mean? It was really a good, solid win, and we've had more of these this year now. And even this is the first time we've had single digit losses since 9-7 wasn't good enough, and since 2017, and that's cool. But even in 2017. Those wins were like gnawing on your nails, kind of nail biters, man. It was never just like we go out and win. This season's a little bit different. This is a little bit different.
Yeah, everything.
Go ahead, bro.
Everything feels different. Everything feels different. They never have wins like this. They never had them in the past. I can't, think beyond this year, and when have they ever dominated besides that Arizona game? They dominate. I mean, and the thing is it's like they got some highs and lows. Like last week they got their ass kicked, and this week they kicked ass. It's crazy.
It happens like teams, right? It's the whole any given Sunday thing. Teams bounce up, teams bounce down, and I think last week, like Coach said, sometimes you got to get punched in the face to kind of get realigned with where you're at. And I feel like that. I feel like that's kind of where we're at.
I was just saying that's the best thing that probably. I mean, last week I felt bad about it. I felt like same old Lions again. But this week I'm like, maybe that's the best thing that could have happened to them. Get punched in the face and realize we're playing football. Some teams they're motivated, and the young guys are motivated now. I think they're ready for a playoff run. If they can get in next week, I think they're ready for a playoff run.
Yeah. I'm next week is lining up to be. I talked about it on the show this week with Riz a little bit. It's lined up to be the game, which is the passing of the torch kind of a game, right? Where the Lions finally take that torch. Aaron Rodgers probably last year, if they tank out and lose to the Lions, I mean, Rodgers is full bitch out mode. It's potential that he closes up shop. He's created enough rift over there in the organization. The fans are ready to move on. You see all that. To see the Lions kind of take it from them and be the team to kind of put the Packers in the ground as they start their ascension into, the Kings of the North.
Yeah.
Oh God, I would love it.
We're going to be the Kings of the North.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got one more question before I get off on you.
Sure.
Is Goff better than Stafford? Is he? I think he is.
Ooh.
I mean, this whole time I feel like maybe Stafford got beaten to the ground by a bad offensive line for years and years, but I feel like Goff is much more complete quarterback. He might not have the arm of Stafford, but he can control the field like Stafford really never did. I mean, he was just like big play Stafford. And I feel like Goff really is like a full, complete quarterback.
This is going to be
I'm not trying to talk crap about Stafford.
No. It's going to be a great offseason conversation, right? I mean, you think about it. Look, Stafford was, the gunslinger. He was the player that pulled you from behind so many times. Yeah, I love the guy to death. But Jared, and if you remember when we brought in Caldwell, it was to teach Stafford how to manage games. And that's one thing that we're getting out of Goff, is he's able to manage these games. Is he better? Like, are his skills better? I don't know if from like throwing the ball through a tire at 190 yards. I don't know if Goff's got that over Stafford. But the real question is going to come if this team makes the playoffs and they win a playoff game. How can you not say Goff is better than Stafford at that point? How can you not? And that's going to be hard. I think for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to have to choke on that. And I've loved that question all year because it's just the brain stumper.
One more thing, real quick. The one thing that might go to that point is I don't think Stafford's ever had two towers, being Decker and Sewell, just protecting him on both sides.
Yeah.
So that might boost Goff's quarterback ability by a couple points. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, we've got I'm seeing it right now that what's it called? They're saying that Goff can't win you the game though without help. No, either could Stafford. He had Megatron to bail him out many years. I mean, he was a guy that could put a ball in small windows, but he lost more games than he won. He threw more interceptions than anybody. I'm not saying Stafford's bad. But I am saying that's he can't win you without help. Doesn't really mean anything because no quarterback can win a game without help. But
it's a conversation to have. Yeah. Well, Stafford definitely. I don't know. We'll see if he even comes back next year. But I gotta go. I gotta get back to things. And you have a good time.
Yeah, you too, brother. Thank you for calling.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot.
You have a good one.
Yeah, go Lions, brother.
Bye.
All right, there we go. We're getting ready soon for Coach to come up on the presser, so we'll have him up there. Our guy is Goff now. Yep, that's it. We'll get into some conversations. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Hey, Chris, it is Flu Shark ND here calling you on a fantastic wind day.
How are you doing, brother? Thank you for being a member of the channel, by the way. Look at you rocking and rolling.
Hey, I love it. And I'll tell you why. It's because, Riz said something pretty telling a while back when he's like, why do you do this to yourself, talking about putting up with losing teams? And I'm been a Lions fan now that it's 2023. I've been a Lions fan for 40 years, and I'm not from Michigan. So when Riz said that, I didn't apply that to the team. I applied that to the fans, and that's why I love coming here, is because I'm not going to get just like, oh, there we go again. We're all going to fall down and blow up and die. And I appreciate the positivity you bring to this. I really do. As regarding like the last caller with Stafford.
Oh, wait, hold on. We got
this, man. I want to thank our fans. They were outstanding. They've been outstanding all year, and the place is loud. And it's a great environment to play in. When you're a coach and a player and you really feel like you have home field advantage, man, it's a special feeling. And because there are home teams in this league that don't have that. They just don't, even when they're winning. So this is special, and I want to thank them for showing up again and being loud. It was awesome. I was proud of our team. I was proud of our coaches. I was proud of our team. We bounced back, and I knew we would because of the guys we have on this team, man. They went to work. They trusted us. We went full pads on Wednesday and said we're going to get our identity back, and we're going to recalibrate, and those guys did that. They trusted us, and they came out, and it looked like that. It looked like we were ready to go. It looked like we were more physical. So I was proud of them.
Overall, your defense only gave up 10 points. It was a total team effort. On offense, you have some great moments in defense as well. Is this the best you've seen them play totality-wise?
I don't know about that. I feel like we've actually, as a whole, we've probably played better games, just a little. But this is certainly up there. This is well done, and considering what we just bounced back from, I think is big. It just verifies all that we've what we are, what we know that we're capable of. And, you know, here we are. I don't know what that is, 6 out of 8 or something. What is it? I don't know. You guys know. There you go. So it's pretty good, whatever it is. And we got back to winning, which was great.
All the young guys stand with James Houston with 3 sacks.
Yeah.
Pascal got a couple. Aiden got one. They got a fumble recovery.
Yeah.
An interception. Just those young guys making impact plays like that. I mean, obviously that bodes well for the future. Right now.
Yeah, they listen. They stepped up for us and did a great job. All those guys, and we talked about it. That was the key to this game. Defensively, was keeping him in, and we got hurt early. And that was self-induced. And it happened to us a couple of times, and we let him out of there. And those players know who they are, and they immediately came off. You know. And we got it straight, and that's a credit to them. But our athleticism in some areas showed up when it needed to. Here's the hard thing with playing a guy like Fields, man. If you just come barreling off the edge and you're out of control, then he's gone. So then you have to be able to bring a little bit of force and close the pocket in on him, but you can't commit one way or another, because then he'll break contain again. So while all this is happening off, your back end's having to cover their rear off for 5, 6, 7 seconds at a time, and so you give up a couple holding calls. I mean, that's not an easy task there. But all in all, man, I thought we snapped back on defense. We were much more physical. We got takeaways today. We did. We got sacks. We were disruptive, and as far as complementary football, our offense was able to take off a little bit and get them in a bind to where they couldn't just continually do the read run stuff, and give it to 32 one more time, all those things.
Did you plan to run the ball that much, or did it just develop?
No, we wanted to run the ball. It's proud of the O-line. It's proud of Jamal. Swifty came to life, man. Watching Swifty, that's like being out in the desert with nothing to drink, and there's that water that you just found. It was great. It was great to see him, and he was feeling it, and that was good. But it was great to get Jamal going again, man. We've been talking about this, wanting to really get him lathered up and let him go. And our offensive line took this serious. They took last week serious, and there again we went to work. Our tight ends, receivers, everybody had a hand in it. So there again, it was a great job.
Dan, what does it mean to you and the team to go into Green Bay with playoff stakes?
I think it means everything. I think it's just so special. It's as good as it can get. I mean, seriously, you get to go to Lambeau, historic Lambeau, where the tops in this division has been Green Bay every year for years, and to go earn your right, to potentially get in. Even if you do get that win, doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get in. I know this, we're guaranteed to get one more week, and so I just think this is as special as it gets. I mean, I just don't think you'd want it any other way. Now, that being said, this to me is, man, because the only downside about today is the fact that this is our last home game. And you want this to be, no, man, we're going to have a few more home games here down the road, in January. And so, but as far as where we're at right now, it doesn't get any better than this.
I was asked you earlier in the week, just about playing meaningful games. Make the playoffs or not at this point of the year.
100% Big West.
The foundation being built with these guys is ready to pull these types of wins out December, January.
Yeah. I do. I think this is what you want them to taste. They need to feel this. They need to understand what this is, because this has got to become the norm. This has to become the norm. And then once you start to understand this, then it becomes you're playing for the division. You're playing for where your seating's going to be. Like that's coming. But right now, to get a taste of all this right now and be in the hunt, be in the run, I think is huge for our guys.
Jared was one of the hottest quarterbacks in the NFL in the month of December. He's just kind of continued that right into January and the new year. Let's talk about his play today. 72% completion percentage. And
yeah.
Touchdowns, no turnovers again.
Yeah.
How much is he fueled what you guys are doing right now?
Yeah, I would start with this. I'm going to give a lot of credit to Ben and Brunell, John Morton, all those guys, because they all have a hand in that. Now, as far as Goff himself, he's extremely hot, and he's playing at a very high level. His He has a ton of confidence right now, and he's had this for a while. I mean, really since, I mean, look, he's played pretty well all year. There's been a couple here and there, and the turnovers were early, but he's got a real good feel of the game plan, and you can just tell it's like he's in this mode right now where you feel like anytime you dial up a pass, he's going to find somebody. He's going to find the throw. He's going to get it to the guy that's open, and that's a great feeling, man. To feel your quarterback is in that mode and he's been there, it's a great feeling. And look, it helps when your old line protects like it's protecting. I mean, that helps everything. Because this guy, look, here's what we know about Goff, man. You give him just a minute to see it, he can put it on the spot. I'm glad he's here. I know that.
If DeAndre Swift is a glass of water in the desert, what was it like seeing Jameson get, some space and be able to showcase that speed on the reverse?
He's like a candy bar in the desert that I wouldn't eat until I got that drink of water because my mouth would be dry, but it would be soon to follow. Yeah, it was great, and we wanted to see him. We had something up for him last week too, and we just never got to it. The flow of the game, we tried to get him a screen early, didn't work out, and so to get him that one, with a little bit of space, and you see him turn up, and it's, you can see that speed. So that's good to see. Get him a little more involved, and there again, man, the more that he does every week, and the more that timing gets developed, and just, man, him going. And I tell you what, he's hungry now. Like he goes. He works hard in practice. He wants to know what he needed to do or what. He's very coachable, and so he's only gonna continue to do this.
You said that you expect there's going to be some more playoff games in January. You're talking about possibly division titles. Do you think that you set the standard? Is that the expectation next season and going forward?
I think that, to me, look, it's early right now. I know this. I always felt like that. Look, you want to win a division championship as soon as you're on the spot. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But you also have a vision of where you think it needs to go. And I know this, like, we need to be competing for division championship next year. I mean, that's the goal. That's what Brad and I set out to do. And you do that, and then you're able to get a home game, get you a couple of home games, and now everything runs through Ford Field. It runs through Detroit. Man, you like your odds a little better. Now, there again, we're still in this moment right now. We got to go to Green Bay, so I don't want to get too far ahead, but that was always the vision, man. And if we don't think like that, then we'll never get there. I know that.
Some communication issues in the first quarter.
Oh, God.
What was going on there, and I guess what does it say about your offense that you're able to still pull a touchdown out of that first drive?
Well, it says that Goff's in great shape because he kept running back over to get the play, run back in. That was a good job by those guys getting it. It was, the helmet went out, and then we tried to change out the helmet. That helmet wouldn't work, and then we, and eventually we got it fixed. But that's, it was a good job by Ben getting them into him. But really, Goff, I mean, to be able to get it in and then sprint back out there, get the play into the guys without the play clock running down, and then still going through the process of everything that it takes to get us into the right play, the kills, the checks, all that. That was pretty good. It's pretty good.
You talked about Swift, you talked about Jameson, but another one of those individuals that's been showing up is Brock Wright, especially in the most recent weeks.
Yeah, listen, Brock's done a good job, and so is Zylstra. Those guys have stepped up. They're young guys in the tight end room, that we want to give an opportunity to. They're both different in what they're able to do. They're both smart. They're both tough. But, look, Brock does a ton of dirty work for us, He does all the blocking, pass pro. He does the flock motion blocks. And so, when you're a hammerhead long enough, sometimes it's a little easier to be dropped in coverage, as long as you sell it.
So what is Brock? You got the water and you got the candy bar in the desert.
No, I don't know about all that. I don't know where to go with that one. But they've done a good job. He did a good job. He just, he shows up every game for us. He does something. And so he's another guy that's grown and developed, another one of our young guys, from last year.
From experience, getting dropped in coverage there, Jeremy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you get thrown a bone every once in a while. Here's one of your 12 catches. which is fine. That's all good. You know your role, and that's great. You know, they'll throw you some scraps.
Jeremy, last one. You guys announced the offensive and defensive line out of the tunnel. Whose idea was that, and was that kind of the same thing with recapturing that identity?
Yeah, I wanted to do that because that was, you know, everything coming out of Carolina was about that. And for us to be, our identity to be a physical, tough, hard-nosed, relentless, resilient team, it all starts with the O-line, D-line. And so I wanted to make sure they got acknowledged for the last one here.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Oh, wow. That's the way to end it. Thanks, Coach. All right, Slew Shark, we're back with you, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, doing great, man. Thanks for keeping me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Sorry about Coach there. Go ahead, man.
Don't ever apologize for that, man. I love that, man.
He's
and
awesome.
I love where he's taking this team. And I guess what it's coming down to is, you know, I don't have time for negative Lions fans who, when they lose a game, everybody's freaking out and starting to talk about replacing people. They're growing. They've earned their stripes right now. These coaches have, and you know, even Goff. You know, he threw 3 touchdowns last week, threw 3 touchdowns this week. I'm not talking about Stafford anymore. I'm a bad breaker upper. I've moved on from him. Him and Torrey Petrick, I don't need them anymore. I have him. I have Goff, and I have Danny Rodgers. So we're in good shape. But really, it's even if they lose the last game, even if they don't make the playoffs, I am still just high on this team, and I'm so happy to be going. Standing in here the whole time, not complaining, not trying to find a different team. This is my team, and I'm proud to be a Lion fan. Go Lions.
Man, I love how you said that. Appreciate that, Slew Shark. Thanks for the call, man. And I will absolutely 100% echo your sensibility there. We talked about it in the last show, we talked about early in the season. This is a 6-win team this year. And here we are at 8. Your expectations change. It's okay to want more, but it's not terrible if the team loses. Like we've talked about this. We've used work analogies in the Slack and everything else. You know, what is it like? If you've achieved all your goals for the year in September, do you get to put your feet on the desk for the rest of the year? Well, if that's when your major project was done at work, yeah, that's how it works. But they achieved what they're supposed to. They're in stretch. They're now looking for the exceed expectations rating as a team. That's kind of how I look at the Lions this year. I won't be disappointed. I'll be disappointed if they didn't win against the Bears today. Yeah, the Bears are a bad team. I'd be disappointed if they didn't win against the Packers as well next week. But that wouldn't ruin the season for me because they met the bar that I put in place and that everybody really put in place at the beginning of the season to for what a successful season was as part of this rebuild. Right now, we're ahead of schedule. I mean, and to go from that 1-6 period where people were saying Bustinson, they were saying, you know, Goff is terrible. He's got to go. We're gonna draft AR-15. MCDC's got to go. To go from all of that, you know, early this season to where we are now, it's a really, really big kind of switch around. Gosh, the life he wants to do. You predicted 10 this season. That's a big bite, man. I don't know that I definitely wasn't there. I was 7-9, and we're right in the middle now. And I admitted my 8-9 win spot was, you know, a little bit of slappy, right? I mean, that was the kind of the ceiling of what I thought they could do. But here we are. We've surpassed the 7 that I predicted was the number that they were going to get. But there we go. So here we are. Let's talk about some of the scores going on right now. Last I saw, the Vikings were up 3-0. They blocked a punt and wound up with a field goal. And we've got the Seahawks with the ball somewhere. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Seahawks leading the Jets 10-3. Big games for us. Big games. Pascal, 100%. 2 sacks today. Gotta love what you saw from Pascal out there. You know, the run game is tough. It's something this Lions team is going to have to look for a solution to. Definitely by next year. It's going to be tough to run the playoffs. I forget who said it in the chat earlier, but it's going to be tough to run the playoffs with the run defense like we've got right now. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Hey, my name's Matthew. I'm working on my 5th right now.
Good for you. Wait, fifth or just 5th drink?
Oh, it's New Year's, so I started with champagne, and then I had some rum, and now I'm on to beer, and we're having a good time here.
There you go. Oh man, so we got you on. What do you got? We get big win today for the Lions. You buying in for the playoffs or?
Well, here's the thing. So I'm 27, and I'm from North Carolina. I've been a Lions fan my whole life. So I've never in my life gotten a Lions playoff win. And, it's been a tough team to root for. It was good to have the Wings growing up because I had a Detroit that could win things.
Yep.
And, the Patricia era was almost enough to make me stop watching football. And the way I feel about this upcoming week is, whatever happens with the Seahawks, whatever happens with the Packers next week, I'm going to end the season feeling like next year I'm feeling really good. And I can't remember the last time that we went into the last season of a week. I felt really good about the next season. Like even in 2014, right, we're going to the playoffs, and you imagine maybe we're going to make a run.
Yeah.
But you didn't feel good about 2015, right?
Mm-hmm.
2017, you finished 9-8. Or 9-7. You don't feel good about 2018. And so this is the first year that I can remember where I say, man, we have a good team this year. We make the playoffs great. We don't. Next year, man, we're going to be really good.
Yeah. This is the trajectory, right? That and you were hoping every year, like, and I'll even say it last year. You hung your hat of hope on, hey, we beat the Packers in Lambeau to end the season. That was good. Hey, we beat them in the first half when their starters weren't there. We did that. We got this. It was you try to find those little kind of victories to hang your hat on and get your hope as a fan, a little bit of hopium going on. Looking at the team and what they've done this year, you've got an entire body of work to look at that says, I've got more than a game or a half or a couple of plays. I've got a season that shows what is in the tank for this team. And I've got 2 first-round picks and a GM that knows what to do with seemingly every pick he's got. Is almost untouchable other than Levi. I mean, he's been fire. You've got real tangible things as a Lions fan to look forward to this season still, because it's not over, but next year, man, this is a golden era. And this is why I am so nervous, because I want that storybook passing of the torch in Green Bay. I want us to win. Even if Seattle wins out, we don't make the playoffs because, we had that one loss. I'm okay. I want that torch passed, and that's what that game means. I think it means a lot to fans, to the players, to everybody as far as like where this is going, and to put the cap on the season to show that these guys got it. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, this next week is going to be the most heart-wrenching, heart attack-inducing game I think I've watched in recent memory, man.
For sure, man. Well, there's only one thing that fans can do to help the Lions win that game, which is to go like and subscribe, help you guys out. This is the show to listen to, so it's not that hard. Just go like and subscribe. Anyways, I'll let you all get on with it. I love the show. Go Lions.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you. All right. Yeah, like and subscribe. He's got it. You can like, you can subscribe. Those are key things to help this show and this team. That's how you really show support for the Detroit Lions, is like and subscribing to this channel. Also, you can go to fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com, fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com, and lock in your sweet Lions gear. They got cool memorabilia if you're looking for that kind of a thing. They got sweet Lions gear. They got Red Wings, Pistons, all the other stuff too. But you want to get your Hutch jersey, you want to get out there looking cool around town, get the official good quality stuff, fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. All right, big game next week. Jets. What the heck? End of the first. I see it as 10-3 so far. It looks like Green Bay ran one back. I've got a couple of screens going here. We'll see what we got. All right. Hockenson with a huge drop. Come on, Hawk. I actually need Hockenson to make some catches today. I'm in the finals. Last I looked, we were 0.04 point differential in what the projected outcomes were for fantasy, for the Detroit Lions podcast fantasy thing. So I could use some help there, Hawk. Go catch some passes, get some touchdowns. What else we got? Jets will win. I like that. Easy does it. Jets will win. Let's stick that out. Let's stick that out. Big West, Lions have to win one before I die. I'm with you. It's coming. Now's the time to really have some fun with it. Were they giving away those black grit scarves at the game today, Lee? This is a great question because I really want one of those. Does anybody know? Can anybody help hook a brother up here? Are they at fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com? Let me know because I want to get me. I want to get myself one of those grit scarves as well. They looked really good. Okay, let's talk about JMO out there. JMO with the big sweep, right? Saw some speed on our guy. Loved that. After we were already hyped up from a big Swift pickup. What was it? Somebody said it was the first time since Barry that we had a draw play on 3rd down and 18 that we were able to, or 3rd and 18 or more that we were able to pick up. And Swift did it. This is a big deal, man. This is a big deal. Swift is really out there causing some problems, and he's going to cause problems for us because a lot of people were out in Swift earlier, and now at the end of the season, he's coming alive. What do you do? What do you do if you're Brad Holmes? What do you do if you're the Detroit Lions with DeAndre Swift? He's going to be one we talk about in the offseason. There's a lot of really good running backs out there, and Jamal too. As Riz said, there's a lot of better running backs out there in free agency this year. Jamal, do you sign him out of a sense of duty, or do you upgrade? That's gonna be a tough one. I just see touchdown Seattle. Brandon, please quit saying that, Brandon. I don't want to hear that from you. Oh, okay. JMO should be nicknamed the Flash. Yeah, that was great. I want to see more of him. We got Goff coming up at the podium here shortly, so we'll get into that. Definitely want to see a lot more of JMO out there on the field. He's really rocking. 99 likes. The algorithm ain't one of them. Hit that like button, folks. Give us some love. Hit the subscribe while you're there. And we'll bring you Jared Goff here on the podium in just moments as we get to him. We're waiting. People like to hear themselves talk ahead of time, I guess. So they're setting up Jared right now. We'll get Jared when he gets up on the podium. Yeah, the throwback uniforms look sweet. I loved those back when they came out in the 90s. I think it was when they first started playing with them. I loved watching those uniforms on the Detroit Lions. Let's see. How much is Shark worth? Shark. Yeah, he's the guy to sign right now. Let's get Goff right here.
Yeah. Thank God we had a little contingency plan there in place with the wristband. About halfway through that drive, we remembered we had that, and that made it a little bit easier. But up until then, I was running to the sideline getting the call. Things like that happen sometimes, unfortunate. But yeah, it happens.
How difficult is it? Is it a big challenge, or is it just something you're pretty?
Yeah, we can't play the whole game like that. We I've done it before, and I've had times where the headset goes out. It's unfortunate. You'd like to think it doesn't, but it does. It's just part of the game.
Playing complementary football, 7 sacks, being defense.
Yeah.
A lot of the 10 points early, but then really shut the door. You guys are humming like that. Just how fun is it when every phase is playing out?
It really is fun. Yeah, it really is. Our defense did a hell of a job today, boxing him in. I know he had the one long run, but outside of that, I thought they did a great job. Shutting down Justin and doing what they were trying to do today. And when we get a short field, it's huge. It changes everything for us. I think the series, we went 3 and out early in the game. Then they went 3 and out, and then we had they had a short punt or whatever happened, but we gained like 30 yards of field position without doing anything. And that's where it's like, okay, we feel the true complementary football, and it's fun.
What was it to get that ground game going?
Important to get it going and to get those guys running confident and feeling the holes and. Get the O-line playing confident like that too, and it was very important, and it was a good day to do it. Yeah, it's important. It's huge. It's where we want to be, playing the last game of the season, and it means something. And we'll see where we land after it all.
How different of an offense are you guys when Swift is playing today?
Yeah. Yeah, he's dynamic. He's really dynamic, and we've got a handful of those guys now that. You put the ball in their hands and anything can happen. As a quarterback, it's pretty fun, and certainly as an offense, it helps us.
Yeah, I understand this as well, but just whether y'all make the playoffs or not, it's whatever the percentage is, whatever. But what does it do for y'all from a foundational standpoint to be playing in meaningful games?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Not every team, players, young guys get the opportunity to play in games like this. I mean, there's a bunch of guys here who have, for the first half of their career, have not had that chance to play in a game in January that means something. And, we're going to get that chance next week. And, whether it gets us in or not, it's not up to us. But, going in there, trying to win and see where everything falls at the end.
In the first half, you had passes to 10 different players to have those kind of options.
Did we 10 different players?
10.
Wow.
Yeah. What's that do for you, and how tough is that to defend?
Yeah, it's part of how our offense works. There isn't really like a feature guy, and there isn't really like forcing it to one guy to get him the ball or anything. It's just kind of whoever's open gets the ball, and Ben does a good job calling it and keeping us in rhythm and keeping us on the same page. And I think when we're able to stay efficient on first and second down, it kind of works that way sometimes. And the tight ends again showed up huge today.
You seem like some pretty confident football right now. Is this the best stretch of football you think you've ever played?
Probably, yeah. I won't jinx anything, but yeah, probably.
We do get pro athletes talk about that.
Sorry, I didn't give you more there, but yeah.
No, the basketball players like saying the hoop seems bigger when they're on a hot streak or whatever. When you're playing a 6, 7, 8 game stretch like this with such efficient football, does it feel different out there? Does it feel slower? Or is there anything that's different?
Yeah, I think confident and comfortable is the best way to describe it. I wouldn't say it feels slower, but I think where we're at with our offense right now, I'm so comfortable and so Ben and I are so much on the same page with every time he calls a play. I know why he's calling it, what the reason is, what defense we're expecting. You're just so much ahead of, where we've been in the past, and Ben and I are really on the same page, and it allows me to play pretty freely and pretty comfortable.
What was the atmosphere like there today?
Fun.
Obviously, you guys aren't going to have another one here. Can you just imagine what it would be like if you guys are winning division titles, having a home playoff game?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
Yeah, it'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. Today was so fun, and seeing those fans, knowing it's our last home game and how fired up they got. That video was pretty cool. I sat there and watched it towards the end. It's cool, man. It's really cool to see the culture building and to see the culture, kind of seething into the fans a little bit, and they feel it, and they're having fun with it. So, yeah, we love playing in front of these guys. It's a lot of fun.
You mentioned the tight ends there, and they've been outstanding for the last 6 weeks, as you Mr. Game Up too. When you guys traded TJ,
yeah,
that was a big move. You
Yeah.
seemed thrilled about it. Obviously, things were going to get more difficult, but since then, like you said, everything's taken off. What have those guys done, and has that done something for you? Not having TJ and having to maybe.
Yeah, they've done a great job. They've been consistent, been where they're supposed to be. On time, block well, they do everything right, and they get themselves open, and there's nothing much else to it. I think I get that question every week, and it's like, and not to be, since TJ's a great player, and TJ's doing tremendous things, and he's a tremendous player. But these guys are no slouches either, and have stood their own, and I think it's a testament to their coaching and just who they are as players.
Jared dragging
These nuts
across the media.
Incompletion, fourth down, you made the decision when everything was covered to throw that shot up to DJ.
Yeah.
Could you just explain the mindset of that play and why that's the right throw to take a chance there in that situation?
Only because it was fourth down. Yeah, if it's third down, I wouldn't have done that. Kind of everyone was covered underneath and saw him deep and figured, worst case scenario hopefully was pass interference. If it's intercepted in the end zone, so be it. But yeah, fourth down, just trying to make something happen.
A couple more guys. All good.
Good. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Jared.
All right, Jared Goff. Woo! Got a good one. Love it. I love it. I love hot Goff in the press room. Get asked that question every week. Dude got defensive immediately. It was great. All right. Yes, Ken Button, you did.
These nuts.
You got some of those dragged across the screen there. TJ is not all that. Yeah. This is one of the things we've talked about early, folks, and I just want to say, back when we talked about Hawk, I talked about it in my video, and people were like, I'm not naming sources, but he wasn't working, and he didn't want to be here, and he didn't have grit. That was everything. And if you looked at his numbers, he had Ebron numbers. They were almost identical. And he didn't want to believe it. And when I saw the numbers, I was stunned that he had Ebron numbers. Oh, my God. What in the heck, Vikings? You are frauds. Yeah, he had Ebron numbers. It's just he was not the guy. And now we're watching the stat that I saw was that the Lions are the first team in the history of the NFL to have 3 different tight ends catch more than 2 touchdowns in a game. That's pretty crazy to see that they able to pull that out. That's without Hawk in the mix. You got Zylstra. You got, I think Hawk probably did it earlier in the season. You got Brock Wright, and you got James Mitchell out there just balling. Good stuff. Good stuff. Packers with a touchdown. It's all coming down to next week. It really is. This is going to be flexed for sure. I know it. Kid from Big Daddy right now. The goddamn Jets. 17-3. It looks like Seahawks over the Jets. This is a tough one. Hawk with 3 drops already. Whew. It is what it is. It is what we is. All right, give us a call, 248-782-8384. 248-782-8384. You can call us, be part of the show, and we'll take your questions and talk through the Lions win, the coach's presser, and celebrate a little bit today. Enjoy the moment, and then start thinking about next week and talk about what's to come. You don't want to walk past the victory over a division rival. You know the Bears are on the ropes this year. You know the Bears just are sucking wind, and it's okay to just drag on them like that, like we did this year. That's fine. That's fun. It's worth every second. But that's an expected win at this point. Looking towards you want to love the win. You want to feel it and remember the experience, because in the tough times, it's the wins that you can hold on to feel better. This is gonna be next week is gonna be a fireball. I guarantee it's gonna get flexed. I guarantee this is gonna be all in, and this is going to be, for so many reasons, a testament to the Lions rebuild. You know, the prime time game. Where have the Lions been? Prime time. They've done terrible. Even when they've had good seasons, they'd show up in prime time and choke, and then the season would fall apart after that. Previously. Now you sit here and you've got the chance to change that narrative, to show that you're a different team, to show the grit, the heart, the everything that this team said it was, the team that can and will. That is what you're looking at next week against the Packers. And look, even if the Packers lose today, which it doesn't look like early is what's going to happen, it all lines up for that game. And it's all in on that game next week. It's going to be a heck of a deal to see what pulls out, what happens next week. I'm so stoked, boys and girls. We've got a week and a couple hours, I feel like, till we do what we do as the Lions. And let's talk about it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to set up for next week? Right? It's my last day before I go back to work. I'm going to be going late with a show afterwards, but I don't care. The Lions, it's worth it. Let's see what we got here. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
Hey, this is Paul from Wisconsin. I've got a solid bottle of wine down.
Oh, there you go. That's good. Do it a little classy. You got the pinky up, the whole thing?
Yeah, a little bit of that, yeah. I just wanted to call in and just say, like, how do they, with the momentum that they got, pivot that in their defensive streak? Because it's on, it's off. It seems kind of sometimes. And how do they just roll that into the Packers game? Because the Packers got some solid running backs.
Yeah, well, you got Aaron Jones, who's beat up, and he's got a million contusions and he's just wrecked. I actually, and I haven't checked the injury report, but what I'm seeing and hearing is that the Packers run game is actually one of the least of our worries. Seeing how we played them last time as well, we played the run game really, really stout. But their defense today is really coming up strong. That's the defense that I'm seeing today from the Green Bay Packers is the defense that we talked about at the beginning of the year. So I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a strength on strength. It's probably going to be a little bit of a shootout game. What was the Lions score earlier this year against the Packers? Do you remember off the top of your head?
15-9 or something like that.
Yeah. I feel like that's going to be the name of the game again. I feel like it's going to be a tough kind of a defensive run. Oh man, this is going to be something. Boy, what are you thinking? What are you thinking, Paul? What are you looking for?
What I'm looking for is, I was watching the game on Fox today, which is a blessing to live in Wisconsin and actually get a Lions game for once. But the Lions, I think we're number one in offense in the first quarter, like scoring. So I think if we come out, just shooting real fast, we can piss off Aaron Rodgers a little bit and get on top.
Yeah. No, I think scoring early is going to be important. I like the idea. This is not a strategic play, right? But if we can win the toss and get the deferred ball, I really, really like that idea. I like having the ball in the second half so much more than having it in the beginning. Man, let's see. Yeah, so that's it. And then let the defense work them, and then from there, just score, right? You're right. Early scoring is going to be important. Getting in Aaron Rodgers' head is always a big part of it. Part of this, though, is Aaron Rodgers, that cockiness that he has, right? Like he told the Bears fans that he owns them. He's messing with Vikings fans. I'm waiting, right? I'm waiting for what he says to get inside or under the skin of Lions fans. Because other than the Fail Mary and all the other kind of crappy plays, I've never heard him audibly say something to drag the Lions. And that's the one I'm waiting for, because people are going to get mad. People are going to get real mad. I would just love to see the Lions shut this team down on the field, and I don't care what he says then.
Yeah, and historic Lambeau, it would be even sweeter.
Yeah. That bottle of wine's on me, buddy, for that win.
Yeah, I'll be in the stadium next weekend, so I'll be cheering as hard as I can.
Well,
thanks for taking my call.
Listen for you. Yeah, thank you, brother. Thanks for calling. All right, Paul, out in Wisconsin. Woo! Yeah, if we can't beat Green Bay, we don't deserve to go in the get in the playoffs. Well, it looks like Minnesota isn't beating Green Bay, although they're starting to drive. They're on the 24 right now. We'll see. Yeah, and that's the thing, Joey. The demoralization of Aaron Rodgers. If his last game was a loss, not just a loss against the Lions. Man, for the Lions to be able to keep them out of the playoffs, for the Lions to be able to win and get into the wild card, that is like I said, it's the storybook ending. And I want a storybook ending in Lions land. We deserve one. The Detroit Lions fans deserve a big, big, happy win. And then we get to the playoffs. And then let me ask you people, let's say we make it to the playoffs. What's your sense? What do you think about the team if they don't win that playoff game? Are you out? Is the same old Lions? What happens? I'm interested, because there's always, like, even the Patriots during the big years had players that were same old Patriots kind of players. Oh, they stink. They don't know what they're doing. There's people crapping on Belichick and the whole thing. There's always that player. That player always exists, or that fan always exists. So I wonder how many of those folks will exist if the Lions make the playoffs and don't pull out a win this time. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
Hey, sorry, this is Mikey. I'm from Windsor.
Hey, Mikey, welcome.
Yeah, I called last week. I had some trouble getting through, and then to me, I was a little nervous too, chatting with you. So, but
don't be nervous, brother. It's the easiest thing to do.
Well, I mean, yeah. I wanted to call back to redeem myself this week. Oh, by the way, I listened to the podcast after I called. The Canadian accent was a little off.
Oh, for me, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm not good at that.
it's a little slower, eh? Right. So you gotta.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to go like that fast. It's hard to keep up sometimes. That's terrible.
Anyway,
Ash has it down.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, I'm excited for the win today, but I feel like we've already won the season, right? So, but I wanted to talk to you. I've been thinking a lot about as far as the Lions and the what I call the Bermuda Triangle of Lake Erie, right? It's like Buffalo and Cleveland and Detroit. Buffalo, of course, I want to get into in a second, and then Cleveland, of course, has just been notoriously terrible, and then of course we have our beloved Detroit Lions. But if you look at Buffalo, right, this is a team that had the largest playoff drought in the NFL. It was like plus 20 years. And then they got a guy called McDermott. And that's right. That's their coach, right? McDermott.
Yep.
Is that right?
Sean McDermott. Yep.
And from what I listened to, I think on the radio, he had culture written on his ball cap, so that every day he looked at it. And I think that's really important, right? And I think that's what you preach on this show is how do we change this culture? If you look at what they did, their first or second year, they barely made it to the playoffs by this fluky throw that the Ginger made, right?
Right.
And then after that, they drafted their quarterback. They started progressing, and now they've gotten to a team that got into a place where they're like one of the best, or if not maybe the best team in the NFL. And that all is just because of the culture that they've made over there in Buffalo. You're probably thinking, Mike, why? This is a Detroit Lions podcast, right? Not a Buffalo podcast, but I think it's important to think about that because reaching out to Detroit fans that are SOL fans and that have that type of mentality. It's important to think about that because why can't we do the same type of thing? Why can't we get a coaching regime in that is going to change the culture and change the process and change the way that we think about this team and bring in people like, that big defensive tackle from the Broncos. I forget what his name is. The Buffalo got
Von Miller.
Miller, right?
Yep.
Like he came to Buffalo because they have this winning culture now, right? So anyway, the reason why I wanted to call in and say this is because I was this guy that was, if the Lions lost, say 3 or 4 games, I'd pretty much kind of pack it in and be like, okay, draft picks. And I was that guy for a long time. And listening to this show made me change to, no, the draft picks actually don't really matter. It's wins that matter. And if I look back I actually went to a Buffalo game because I live in Niagara now, but I went to a Buffalo game. The Lions played Buffalo. It was a terrible game in December. And both teams were out of the playoffs. And it was essentially that game came down to I think it was like the 8th and 9th draft pick. And whoever won would get the 9th and whoever lost got or whatever it was. We ended up getting Hawk and Buffalo got Oliver. And so if you actually look at that game, or if you look at that type of thing, then, well, who's won that? Who won that game? Well, Buffalo won the game and they got, Buffalo won the game. They got the better draft pick or however it went, right? But really, like, what's that really draft pick mean? Like, Oliver's still there, Hawk's gone. If you look at Chase, right? From 2 years, he's sitting on the sidelines right now, right? So, wins are so much more important, I think, and I appreciate that listening to the show has kind of given me that kind of that way of thinking. So
no, I appreciate it, Mike. I'll talk to you a little bit about culture, and I think that's the thing that I think is Campbell is brought and bringing, and I think you're seeing it with our guy Holmes too. You know, the whole idea of grit, the whole idea of the team that can and will, the talk, you know, the team and the way they didn't give up last year, and they didn't get that win until the Minnesota game, right? But the team was bought in. They were playing. The games were more fun than they had been in years, and they instilled the culture, the Dan Campbell culture. And as they continue to do that and add talent, the team gets better and the culture starts to take hold and it starts to build. And now you're seeing what's happening as this culture infuses. And I think another draft, another influx of the players and the picks that we're going to have this year are just going to be awesome, because we have a number of picks to add talent or to move around in the draft if needed. We have some cap space for the first time this year to make some moves. I think you're going to really, really make that culture is going to find its way to the fore, and it's going to show itself in the can and the will and the grit. It's going to show itself to be what carried this team through some of those earlier darker times. This team is fully bought in. These players are fully bought in, and this is really this is the turn. The turn was the culture first. The talent is coming now, and this team is really is got a sweet trajectory ahead of it. And I'm as calm as I've been as a Lions fan, facing a win or die. We need help to get in the playoffs. I'm all right. I'm all right, because I see where this is going, and I don't have to be terrified, and I don't have to say they'll never get another chance if they don't do it now. No, this team has got everything that they need. They've got all the pieces. They've got the draft picks. They've got what they need to take the next step next year, and then even the year after that. I'm really excited with the way these pieces are put together, and the foundational piece is all about that culture. And it, you know, way back when Coach was first hired and Brad Holmes was first hired, nobody understood, it seemed like in the media, what servant leadership was and what ownership was and what buying in as a team really was. And once I saw how they were approaching leading this team and building the culture of this team, I knew I was in. People saw it. I was sucked in immediately, and I was trying to tell people from the beginning that this is all about leadership style. This is all about, you're a man. You deliver what you're supposed to deliver. You own what you're supposed to own. Jamie Collins didn't own shit. Goodbye, Jamie Collins. I don't care who you are. All of a sudden, Anzalone, addition by subtraction, was amazing. Chris Spielman, the anchor back to the last playoff winning Lions teams, the class, the things that in his personal life he's been through to give perspective to the game. All these things come together and create a Lions culture and a culture of a team that can and will to steal it from Coach. I'm really excited. I don't care as much about where the draft pick numbers. Look, I'd love the first 4 picks in the draft every year. That would be awesome. But that's not going to happen. I don't have control over the Rams pick. I don't have control over the Lions pick. But I know, and I have faith finally in a team where if we go up or down 1 pick or 2 picks or 5 picks, there's a player I'd like. But there's another player I'm going to like at the other spot. And I have the confidence that this front office and this staff can get us the players that we need no matter where they pick in the draft. And I mean, you look at teams like the Patriots or teams that have been good for a long time, they don't draft high. They draft way down there. They're not relying on that number 2 overall pick every year to try to put something together. I'm not as worried about where we pick because I know this team can pick. I know this front office knows how to pick. This year they've got their scouting plans and their scouts and their program and their software in place. They're set up, again, they're poised to only get better at what they're doing.
Yeah, and not only I think can they pick, or but they can also coach the players, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'd rather a 12th round pick that can be coached up than than a third round pick that, we saw that with Okuda, right? A third round guy that's like, oh, okay, great. But then now we got a coaching staff that actually coached Okuda up, and now we see what he actually can do, right?
Yeah.
So
what development looks like, which we didn't see forever.
Anyway, I'll let you get back to the show, but I don't know. I don't think I answered your question. How much have I had to drink? I had a couple tall boys during the game.
There you go.
But I'll tell you what, I always drink a big glass of Kool-Aid.
There you go.
So
watch
that's the most important.
All right, brother. Be good, Mike.
All right. Cheers.
All right, we'll see you.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Spielman was the guy that wanted to handle Kim. Now, so let me talk a little bit, because there was some confusion I saw in the chat that Seinfeld, Spielman doesn't build the culture in the locker room. He's a front office guy. Of course he's in the front office, but that culture and this team and the way this team operates is a top to bottom culture. So every part of it, because a big part of it, and this is what we didn't have with Patricia, is that authenticity piece. All right. And authenticity means top to bottom, you are who you are. Dan Campbell, his realness, the honesty of what he is because he's authentic, because he is real. And that's the same for Brad Holmes. He is authentic. He is real. And Spielman and the players, they want the real them. Because when people are putting on airs or putting up other stuff, that doesn't bode well. It gives you what you had with Matt Patricia. Hey, caller, what's your name? I think you might be my Latvian Lion.
Latvia Lion, yeah. Ivars Sika, that's me.
How you doing, Ivars?
I'm doing fine. I've had about 4 or 5 glasses of red wine, and I'm loving life.
There you go. What do you got for me on the big win today, brother?
I like it. I just want to talk a little bit about our rookie defensive ends. How about 15 sacks? 15 for rookies.
That's
And then let's not forget the 3 interceptions.
Yeah. Can we just
the forced fumbles?
Can we pour Hutch into the defensive rookie of the year? Can we just do that now, please?
I would like it, but his teammates got just as many sacks as he does.
Shh, I got money on Hutch.
Hey, I hope you win.
I got money on Coach Campbell too, which is another reason. I mean, I put my money wherever, but it's like $420 if Campbell wins Coach of the Year. I'm really, I mean, a win next week goes a long way to helping seal some of that money. Come on, Coach, help me out, brother.
Yeah. I hope you're right. I just wanted to mention a couple other things here. How about the Green Bay flex? For me, that really sucks, because that means the game's at 3:00 in the morning. I hope they don't flex it, but I'm selfish. It's probably good for the Lions and the NFL if they do flex, but for those of us watching here and the fans here in Europe, it's not optimal. Yeah. But we'll deal with it.
I am, I'm in the same boat. I've been off since the 16th of December was my last day of work. Immediately got sick. I've been sick. I'm like, today is actually the first day I'm actually feeling better. So I got a little cough, but I'm actually like back on my feet. So I've got this week off really. And then the game. And then I go back to work the following Monday with 2 weeks to prepare for a big trip. I'm like, I don't want my first day back to be after a post-game show on a nighttime game. But I'll frickin' do it. I will absolutely do it. From a selfish perspective, it does stink. From a team's perspective, though,
I think it's great.
Really, I think the Lions stand to win a lot more from the hype of that flex than the Packers do. The Lions have more to win, and the Packers, I think, have more to lose actually out of this game coming up. This is going to be something interesting.
Yeah, but let's just, I mean, the Vikings Packers game isn't over yet. So we've seen the Vikings come back this year from a huge deficit. So it's not over yet. So it doesn't, we don't know if it's going to have the kind of implications that it seems that it might as of now. Let's wait an hour or two and see what's up. But I'm with you.
I'm not seeing much out of these Vikings. You
didn't see much out of them when they came back those 30-some points a couple of weeks ago either.
No.
So it's possible.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Yeah, let's hope.
And I have one more point for you.
Sure.
All these people quibbling about the draft order. Are you really concerned about the draft order with our GM? Come on, you got the problem, 6th round. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 3rd round. You got Kirby Joseph. You got an undrafted free agent, the seatbelt gang guy, Jerry Jacobs. There are many more examples. What about Rodrigo? Everybody's contributing, and we're worried about draft order. We can find guys in the 6th round. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's where like 3 or 4 spots don't bother me in the least.
3 or 4 spots, our guy will move to get that guy that he thinks won't be there in 3 or 4 spots. I haven't seen this from the Lions front office since I've been alive. And I was born in 1963.
There you go. All right, my man.
So, those are my points, and I think I'm going to hang up and listen to the rest of the show. Thanks, and great job, Chris.
Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Be well. All right. Latvia Lion, all the way from Latvia, calling in. This is great. That's the part I love. That's one of the things I absolutely love about the show and everything is the global nature of what we got. It's good stuff. Good people. All right, let's get into this. Looking forward to the Green Bay. 248-782-8384. Someone asked for the number. Sorry, 248-782-8384. We'll take a call or two here before we cut it down. But just looking forward to this game next week. It's going to be a shootout. The Packers are looking strong right now. The Pack just seems to be pulling it together here to end out the year, to doing Packer things. For them to be frog stomping the Vikings just as a Packer thing to do when the Vikings are leading the division by so much. They're showing where the real gaps are on the Vikings. But I think it's going to be different. It's going to be a different game when the Lions are there. And again, the flip is ready. The script is ready to be flipped for these Detroit Lions, and I can't wait to be there for it. I really, really can't wait to see these Lions come up and do it all and make the magic here. This game won't matter. Packers won't beat this Lions team. That's right, Ken. And that's it. I mean, it stinks to watch them win today because maybe things could happen, but frankly, I don't care what the Packers do as long as they lose to the Lions. And if I see a dejected Aaron Rodgers dragging his helmet off the field at the end of the game, that'll be all I need. It'll be all I need to see the passing of the torch into next year, even if the Seattle Seahawks don't get the loss that we need. This has been a successful season, and I think folks just need to accept that, playoffs or not. Playoffs are like the double stretch, right? These last 2 wins to take us to, 8 wins, 9 wins. Those are absolutely stretch. And then to make the playoffs is even beyond. Remember, 6 wins was the consensus. 6 wins is where we're at. Everything we're doing now is stretch success, is beyond what anyone with a kind of clear head and football kind of knowledge thought for this team. And they have vastly outperformed what that prediction was. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we have going on. We have the Seahawks up. Seahawks. Why am I saying it like that? Seahawks up 17-6. Successful season. Green Bay sucks. The cheese is moldy. Yeah, the Aaron Rodgers fighting for a playoff position is he's used to it, so he is up for the task. But the other thing is he's getting older, and this is the spot. This is the spot. Oh, this was it. Detroit fan man, thank you for reminding me. After we beat the Packers, didn't Karen say we can't lose to that team or something of that sort? Now that I need that team to end his playoff desires. A team like that, I think, is what he said. A team like that. And I will absolutely relish in being a team like that and putting another W stomped on his forehead. That would be beautiful. But Don Burr, I love your passion there, brother, and I hope you're right. Bulletin board material, yeah, I think this is set to be a great game. The Lions have all the motivation here. The Packers are the ones that are supposed to be the high and mighty tower of, strength, and the ones who've been there before, and the Lions are the young upstarts ready to kind of take out Goliath. But Goff's been to a Super Bowl. We'll do this. We'll see this. All right. I think we're going to call that a show, folks. I appreciate you all for joining me. Thank you for being here as Solo Chris this week. It's New Year's Day. People are either around the world or doing New Year's Day things. So we've got that. We'll see. We'll see what we have next week. We'll talk about it this week in the podcast. We also will start, I think you'll start seeing a couple of kind of brief videos popping up from us as we think these things through and talk through some of these things this week, because there's a lot to talk about this week in the run up. There's a lot of fun coming. There's a lot of fun coming for Lions fans. I absolutely am so stoked for this team and the off season this year for a whole different reason than off seasons past. It's just going to be crazy. And we got the Senior Bowl coming. Don't worry. I am going to make it a point to get Ronnie Bell on, as well as some of the other folks at Senior Bowl. There's 5 of us there providing coverage. We got the whole gang. It's a DLP gang showing up in Mobile, covering the Senior Bowl. We got this season to finish out, maybe some playoffs. My biggest fear and excitement would be that the Lions make a run in the playoffs, and then I fly out because I'm flying on a Sunday during the playoffs, and I have to see the Lions as I'm flying or something. It's going to be crazy. But we appreciate you all. Thank you all for joining us. Remember, don't forget about us on the old Patreon. It's where you get access to the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. That's the Slack chat. And for $5 a month donation, you get in access to that. Or if you join the channel as a member, you'll get access to that as well. So go to patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Please give us a like and a subscribe before you go. It helps us out. We appreciate when you do that. Also, follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast. It is the very best place to see me and the rest of the folks pants free. Also, give us a call on Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word, Detroit Lions Podcast, or call us in the Lions line at 248-782-8384, 248-RUB-YOU-FUG. Be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com, subscribe to the podcast so we can pop up in your ears magically. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems, because we are your Detroit Lions and Reddit Connection.